That's how we do it. Okay guys, you just saw me putting the decal on the dash. I know that I got a lot more done from the last time you saw it, and I wanted to bring you guys along, but it just was crunch time and a lot of stuff happening. So we did switch the dash. Plastic dash is gone. It was destroyed. That was my own idea, is using a 69 dash, but this dash was not nice to begin with. It was actually rotted out on the bottom from stuff nestling in it so much, and there was a hole here. Somebody drilled a hole there. There's problems with it. There's a little divot there. So I did not feel bad putting it on this one. But that is off a 69 Suburban 12. She's going to make me decals that are red to put above the ignition switch and everything like the original, where they'd be orange. So we got a decal kit for this. I'm going to keep the shifter decal. I'm going to just leave that alone. I feel if I try taking that off with the heat gun, I'll just mess the paint up, and it might end up looking worse than it does now. Even with the new shiny decal, it'll look crappy underneath. But the decals on the dash turned out nice. I couldn't be more pleased with them. It appears that they're on an angle, but trust me, that's the hood that's on an angle, because of the hood being higher on these for the engine to fit. But that, I marked it out. It's lined up perfectly with the line on the dash. We got the wheels painted. Got the wheel weights painted. That was bothering me, so that's all done. We started doing the black on the front of the grill, and the eagle-eyed amongst you might see the overspray. Yes, that is just a mist, barely anything. But if you look at the rest of the hood, it's splotchy because we were painting out here, and it's literally like a tornado season out here. I don't know what worst time to paint the hood. I wasn't taking it upstairs. I'm not trying to get perfection out of this. I just want it to be half decent. So, and as you can see, I fixed this grill, and just in the time of me messing with it, there's already, can you see it? There's a crack there, a hairline crack where the original crack was. Jimmy crack corn, cracks everywhere. But we're in the process of cleaning it up, the frame and whatnot, getting some of the grease off of it. Like all these tractors, the front frame covered in grease, just caked on. And I polish the shift knobs. Probably just oil soak the frame with like a WD-40, like a mist on it, and wipe it around. But it is looking a lot better. Got the 3-point on. I don't know if that was in the last video. The lower grill was broken, the original silver piece, and the bar that goes here is broken out of this 19.9 specific grill. So I had to just keep that on there for time restraints. I have a chunk that I cut out of another dash that I'm going to epoxy or get somebody to TIG weld that in for me at a later date. It's not dire need right now. But we do have all the decals for the hood, so it's going to have the nice psychedelic colored Sears logo there. It's going to have the little ones right here with the goofy little S thing on it, and then the 6-speed one right here once the paint dries a little bit more. But I'm going to wet sand the whole hood with 2000 to get rid of the overspray, and then to get rid of the splotchiness where there's dry paint and wet paint, just where there's paint that dried before it hit the panel, so it's rough to the touch. It's rough to the touch right now, but if you feel the fenders, it's still a little bit rough, but not as rough as that. So that when you touch them, it's actually smooth. The hood's rough as can be. But the fenders were sandblasted and painted. They're painted underneath as well. You probably can't even see, but trust me, they are. The hood was sanded down to bare metal. The fiberglass was sanded down to almost bare fiberglass, barely any white left on it. That came off of a white SS16. The hinge area was in decent shape, but the holes were busted out of it. So I took 5/16 brake line tubing, cut it, fouled it out on the inside. Now there's metal inserts inside that fiberglass. So they're epoxied in and then fiberglassed over top. And then I did reinforce it around this area, because right here there was actually a hole. Because somebody just had a hole drilled through this and a piece like a hose clamp put around it or something goofy. I can't remember exactly, but it was hokey. But we're going to get some headlights in it. Headlight wiring is ran up to here. I tested it, everything's working. I just have to run a ground wire. I'm probably going to just cheat, run the ground wire to this or somewhere on the engine block to make it easier. I did SOS pad underneath here and just paint the underneath of the hood. It's not perfect, but we weren't shooting for perfection. The one thing I did do though is, because these hoods never line up, is I started grinding this, because the hood wants to, when you set it down, like have a little hollow hole right here. It doesn't set nice and flush against the dash. I'm still working on this because I want it when you shut the hood that it actually latches really nice, which I'm almost there, but we're gonna end up putting the black felt possibly on there. We might not, depending on time restraints and if we care enough to get that done. We got the padded seat cover going on. You might have noticed the steering wheel center cap, I put that on. The hour meter is out of the old dash, just cleaned up, and if you know anything about the hour meters, they're way too long. It would be poking into the battery. So this one did not work. I tested it, did not work. So I viced it up and just put the guillotine through it, cut it. So this is just for show. It's just a faux hour meter, just for something to be there for shits and giggles to look at. Because the 69s don't have the amp hole cut out, but it's the provision is there. So I cut it out thinking, oh man, we're gonna put the hour meter in it, that'll be awesome, I'll get it to work. Well, it's all good in theory, and then I go to put it together and it was hitting the battery, so had to put something there. I think even an amp gauge would have trouble fitting with that battery the way it is, because they have it set back farther on the 19.9. If you had a typical SS16 or 16.6, I think the battery tray is farther forward and you'd be able to get away with it. Not 100% sure, but I think that is what's going on. I found gas caps for these. They're shorter, but it has the gauge built into it. It's the same cap, but the part that reads the fuel is going to be shorter, so it's going to read empty before it's truly empty, but that's actually a cool thing, I think. That way you look at it and it says you get to the gas station quick. But it's coming along pretty nice. Like I said, I'm still playing with that hood. I'm gonna foul that down to get it to where it fits really nice. The lower grill is getting painted silver. I just while I was painting the black here, I just misted the mesh, and then I'm gonna scuff this back, mask the mesh off, and then paint it real quick. But she's looking pretty good. Just gonna clean up the frame some more. That's an overall of the whole girl there. Looking pretty good, I think. And I thought that I only had one of them 3-points with a longer arm on it, which I really like this once it's fully extended down. It just touches the fender when it touches the big meats. So I'm assuming if it touches the fender that has to be pretty much as far as it would go down. But if it doesn't, I guess it's going to self-clearance itself at plow day, so we'll find out. So that seems pretty far back. But I've bought tractors where the fender's been in there, and I always wondered what that was about, so. If it doesn't hit the taillight panel, it seems to be okay in that position. I might throw a plow on it and take it to my work and go down in the woods and just see if it hits the fender or whatnot. And then I might just heat that up with a torch and bend it over and make it to where it fits this tractor perfect. Yeah, she's looking pretty good, pretty good. I couldn't be happier with the dash and the decals. And man, is the wind picking up. But it looks 100 times better from when I first bought it. And then we got more done to her SS12. It is practically 99.9% done. The only thing that I would like is if the wheels were painted, but that's kind of just, they're going to get trashed anyways. As you can see, there was a leak. The rear right axle seal was leaking, so we changed that for her. Tightened the hubs up, made sure all the wheels are tight so that doesn't become a problem and the wheel fall off or something dumb. But she was out here just a little bit ago detailing her up. So she's pretty happy. There's another parts rear end. We might be having to dive into that for Krusty. I don't know. Ooh, we gotta talk about Krusty. I forgot about that. So here's the mess out here. I can't wait till I can pick things up and move stuff around. Don't look at that, Dave. That's a workbench there. So Krusty is under construction. We have the rear end locked that I want to put in this, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to take this to plow day anyways, because we have a 10-foot trailer, and I assumed that these were 5 foot or less, but they are 5 foot 6 inches long, and that's from the edge of the tire, so that's the most important part, the edge of the tire to the edge of the tire up here. And that's even like thinking about it as like boxes fitting together. These aren't boxes, they're not perfectly square. So I allotted, they're like really 5.5 if you want to get technical, but 5.6 I let that 1 inch of leeway, but even at that it was not going to work. And I even considered the idea of, once the tires are on, that you take the 3-point arms off and then you have the tire of the other ones like straddling the other one in the back. But even then, I mapped a box on the ground at the storage unit and made the box slightly bigger, like by 1 inch. And then I even did that and parked them that way, and they would not fit inside the box. So without me even taking it to the trailer, and in theory and in basic mathematics, it wasn't going to work. So that's where we're at with that. It sucks. I really wanted to bring this one because I feel I would have had more fun on this one than the 19.9, just because of the way it looks, and I always like these engines a lot. And then we ran into other problems with it. I got the dash mounted. I checked all the electrical system on it one day after work. It hasn't ran long enough for me to test if it charges or not. But I went to go put the throttle cable on and this broke. So this is another one off another engine at the storage unit. I don't like parting out my engines because I like to keep them together for upcoming projects. So I'm on the hunt for one of them now. I'm missing one. So I got to put that on. And the throttle linkage on these is really goofy. I'd open the hood and show you. Yeah, we just will. This hood's like only just setting on here. Now I'm going to need 2 of them rods. I just dropped that one. Alright, this is goofy all around. The way they have this. This guy goes through that slot. Well, I guess from the other direction. But anyways, the cable goes down through here, but you have to double nut it, and that's your adjustment, is just screwing the nuts up and down on it. And trust me, this took about 10 minutes to get the nut from there the whole way to the end of this, but now it's perfectly clean. It goes on by hand now. But 40 years of it never being taken off, it usually happens. But yeah, you got to run that up the whole way. Then I still got to mount all the coil and everything, and then I'd like to get it running perfectly without the hood on it, because I have it to where this mounts to the lower grill piece, or the removable grill piece. But we got the air cleaner in. Everything fits with that air cleaner. Thanks guys for giving me the part number for that. The electrical system seems fine. So Kaylin just came down here and scared the ever-living crap out of me. That's why the video just got short. Oh man, where were we even at? Well, thanks. Thanks guys for the air filter part number. I got that on there. The wiring seems fine. We still have to put the steering on, put the rear end in it, bolt a bunch of stuff together. But I really don't want to rush this and then have 3 that are half-assed. So we are focusing on the 2, and then we're going to round up a bunch of spare parts, because I feel like this is the year for things are going to break. So we're going to bring extra tie rod ends, extra belts, extra springs, extra. Motor oil this time so we don't burn any engines up. Check the oil regularly. So, but she's looking good, We're getting prepared though. We haven't forgot about them. We're back here every day after work, but we only get like an hour, maybe 2, without it getting dark. So I don't know if you can hear the wind, but it's ridiculous here. But we're gonna let this dry a little bit more, get something to eat. We're gonna also get a center link today, one that my buddy made me. He actually made me 4 of them, but they're custom made. They simulate the exact original, but they're just made of a better material. They were actually machined instead of cast. I think I spoke about them in an older video, but we're gonna go get them, mount the plow, and get it all adjusted. As the same with hers, we need to adjust it. Are you done scaring me?
Yeah.
But that's about what we have going on now. And next time you see it, that front hood and everything should be a lot prettier without the overspray on it. So, alright guys, and this is where it stands at the end of the day. Couldn't paint again. I got to get rid of this. I did sand it already in preparation to get the rest of it painted. But other than that, she's done. That's what that new older style dash on newer one looks like. Matches pretty well. Took bits of the old dash, put it on here just for style points. It can easily be removed. Wheels turned out awesome. Kaylin did those. Then we have one other bit from the old dash. You can see the lower grill's broken. So we just put that there to kind of take your eye away from it, but now you all know. And I also got my center links today. I'm gonna head upstairs, I'll show you guys that, and then I am done for the day. So we will be adding that onto here and getting my 10-inch moldboard plow put on. So it's looking good. Tell me what you guys think. And here are the new center links. He made everything out of raw materials. Machined it all himself, a buddy of mine. But I gave him that one as an example. He just made duplicates of them. So I have 4 extras, and he got me all new pins for them. So we'll be rocking them at plow day, at least on mine. But that's a little update from the Horde. Talk to you guys later.